what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to our Sunday night live stream. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers, joined by the estimable Jerry Hamilton himself. We'll get into whatever you guys want to talk about. It's Texas, Georgia week, of course, so we'll dive into that matchup. That will be a top 10 matchup. We know that now based on the AP poll, coaches poll, so we'll talk about that as well. Longhorns number 10 and the Georgia Bulldogs number 5, so we'll discuss that. We'll also dive into Georgia, Mississippi State a little bit, what we saw from there. Hope you guys did your homework. But whatever you guys want to talk about, throw out your questions, comments. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line, and you can interrupt the show at any time. All right, Jerry. We can get into a lot. Texas at number 10. You got any issue with the poll, coaches poll or AP poll, the way it stands? Georgia at 5, Texas at 10 in terms of this upcoming matchup.
No, I absolutely do not. I know some people would argue, well, yeah, the coaches poll, why is Texas tied with Oklahoma? I mean, give me a break, right? And people could argue that Texas should be over Notre Dame. I can hear that argument. It's not really close in either poll, which is the crazy thing. But that's really the one is Texas versus Notre Dame, how you'd rank those guys. Well, it's about to play out because both Texas and Notre Dame have road games this week. And I know Notre Dame's playing Pitt and Texas is playing Georgia. There's a big difference, but this stuff's about to play out. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that BYU with one loss stayed ahead of Vanderbilt in the polls because I don't think BYU would beat Vanderbilt in the game. That when BYU goes on the road, can't really score, shut out most of that game against Tech. I know it's one loss versus 2 losses, but it's a minor thing. I'd have had Vanderbilt over BYU because BYU's not beating Vanderbilt on a neutral side.
I get that. All right. I like that. Vandy bounced back. Crazy game against Auburn. That was a wild game down. It was actually a couple of wild games down the stretch.
Yes.
Almost shook things up. Big time upsets over the weekend. Indiana got a little scared there as well. Yeah, what a hell of a catch in the back of the end zone.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable drive. Unbelievable throw. Unbelievable catch. The catch was just off the charts. He got to both feet in.
Yeah, that was NFL.
That's the crazy thing is he got both feet in.
Yeah, no, that was one of those games.
Damn near hit his head on the goalpost and still got both feet in.
Yeah, man, that was it. Like I said, that was no doubt. That was the play of the weekend for sure. So whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll get into it. But of course, Texas, Georgia, that is the number one type of conversation. Jerry, you got a chance to watch some of that game. I watched some of the Georgia Mississippi State game. There were some Longhorn fans. They were hoping Mississippi State would give them a scare like they did Texas down there. Maybe try to wear Georgia out a little bit before they play Texas. Not the case at all. Georgia came to play. They were not having that nonsense. They weren't messing around. That might have been one of their best games overall as a team traveling down there. What did you see about that matchup versus Mississippi State that you think will translate for those Bulldogs versus Texas?
Well, they had 303 rushing yards against Mississippi State. I mean, that's more than A&M had. And now that was a road game, but still, when Georgia's at their best when they have their power run game and they do everything off of it, and they have a pretty good combination in Nate Frazier, who got loose against Mississippi State, the speed back, and then when they need to go power, Chauncey Bowen. But their offensive line is finally healthy. They had a kind of a turnstile of injuries at offensive line. They played multiple combinations. I think this is the 3rd game all year they've played all their guys. Lawson Lucky probably won't play against Texas, but I'm here to tell you, Georgia, Ulysses Williams made a 50-50 catch in the red zone that was ridiculous. The freshman, he looks really good. They have tight ends for days at Georgia. But the interesting thing I did notice, and now Georgia, it's crazy that they have 11 sacks as a team this year, and 10 of those, I believe, 9.5 come from the linebackers. And they haven't given up many sacks, but whenever they were in 5-man protection against Mississippi State did get some pressure on them. So the key will be how many times can Texas get Georgia into 5-man protection and get them in some 3rd and long situations, because it's easy to say, well, Georgia's offensive line is really good. Yeah, but the way they run the football this year, they're playing in 3rd and short.
Yeah, they are.
So Gunnar Stockton hasn't played in a lot of 3rd and longs, and that offensive line hadn't been in 5-man protecting a ton this year. So, but my whole thing with the Texas offense is you have to handle those linebackers. I mean, they just have guy after guy after guy at linebacker. and they're all big and they're all fast. They were blitzing two of those guys from the same gap against Mississippi. I was like, there was just like, well, they may as well just hold hands, man. They A gap blitz and then delayed blitz behind it with another backer. You're just like, my gosh, good luck with that. So I think the biggest thing is handling the linebackers. If you can handle the Georgia linebackers, their secondary, I know everybody's talking about the Texas secondary, but Georgia's had their secondary issues too this year. But the whole key is to keep those linebackers from flying up the field against you and just totally disrupting timing and vision and getting you really off schedule.
Yep. I don't think we've seen a Kirby Smart defense that that doesn't wreak a lot of havoc. And this group doesn't, to your point about the 11 sacks. I think it's like 121st or something like that in the country, and tackles for loss as well. I believe they're like 128th or 9th in the country in tackles for loss. You're just not used to seeing that. Doesn't mean they're not a sound defense. They just don't wreak as much havoc as they have in years past, to your point, Jerry. So the thing interesting about the 5-man protection, Gunnar Stockton is also, this is something that worries me too. He's playing his best football.
Yeah, no doubt.
Gunnar Stockton is playing his best football. I saw a great stat about him this season among SEC quarterbacks, first in total QBR, tops in completion percentage, and second in touchdown interception ratio. If you look at just his games versus ranked opponents among the SEC quarterbacks, he would be first in completion percentage, third in yards per attempt, highest QBR among SEC QBs versus ranked opponents this season. I think their sample size is 3, and second in touchdowns thrown, 0 interceptions in those games too, by the way. So I think that one of the big questions going into the season was, man, can Gunnar Stockton mature as a passer? Like, can he really grow? It looked like he was like there was some Sam Mellinger there. A lot of great leadership qualities, a lot of great athletic qualities, athletic profile, but he was more of an athlete playing the quarterback position. Could he mature into a quarterback? He's starting to look like a QB back there. Ain't no doubt about that. That worries me a little bit too, because, if they have the run game and a quarterback playing at a high level, Texas, you got to take one of those away. You got to take the running game away, or you're going to have to shake up Gunnar Stockton, to your point about put them in 5-man protections. Honestly, that kind of comes with stopping the run, putting them in predictable pass situations. So that is right now, Georgia's offense might be right now at their best all season.
Yeah.
Texas is gonna get their best, but they haven't faced a pass rush as good as Texas, and they haven't faced a rush defense as good as Texas.
That's
too.
right.
It is kind of the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's about 3 things we can bet on going into this game, and I'm not talking about the line, which has moved up 1 point. We can bet on this crowd is going to be wild on Saturday night game in Athens.
Oh, red out! It's a red out. They say
it's a red out.
That's what they're saying.
Red out. They've been waiting on this one all year.
Yeah.
Kirby will have his team play unbelievably physical and fired up with their hair on fire, but controlled. And 3, Georgia's probably going to play, if not their best game, very close to their best game of the season. That doesn't mean the ball's always going to bounce your way or whatnot, but those 3 things are going to happen. And here's the 4th thing. If you're Texas, the one thing that needs to happen, you got to go play your best game of the season.
You do.
Bottom line.
Period.
You got to go play your best game of the season right now.
Yep.
I mean, if you don't, your odds go way down. You got to go play your best game of the season at Georgia. And that's what November football is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is Texas and Georgia. There's a lot on the line in this football game. There's a lot on the line for Steve Sarkisian personally in this football game. There's a lot on the line for Kirby Smart personally in this game, because the second he doesn't get to the SEC championship, people are going to say, yep, that Georgia program's slipping, aren't they?
Yep, starting to fall off.
Sark loses to Kirby again. What's going to be said? Sark's 0-3 against Kirby. He's 0-2 against Dade. He's 0-2 against the board.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like so easy to predict. If Arch Manning doesn't have a really good game, the Athletic will recycle some old article about he's the most overrated player ever. I mean, everything that's going to be written. But the one thing Georgia's probably going to play as good a game as they have all year, because so much is on the line, and Texas has to go play their best game of the year. And it should be a hell of a game if Texas answers the bell with Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia's going to try to out physical Texas, Rod. You and I both know they're going to say, here's our hats. They're going to be on you. Respond.
Period. Yeah. I mean, you got to beat Georgia in the trenches to beat Georgia. And that means you got to be ready to win a fight for 4 quarters. Yep. As Kirby said, they're hard to kill. Okay. Is this real? Is this, because this is actually a legitimate reporter, Graham Coffee here. He's actually a legitimate reporter. And I know Sark and obviously Kirby have a relationship. They've actually talked about that independently. And this is, I believe this guy publishes for Dog Central, so shout out to them. But he says Kirby Smart said he texted Sark this morning on the way from 2. They can't be real. That's not real.
I don't know if I buy that necessarily.
Well, he's got to be trolling. He's got to be trolling folks with that. I'm just gonna throw it, even though I know he's probably a legitimate reporter. Yeah. Okay, let's thank our first sponsor before we move into some of the questions and from the super chat here. All right, first, thank our friends over at Rogue Shop. We appreciate them for sponsoring our Sunday night live stream, bringing real plant medicine back to its roots. Rogue Shop, they have it all, folks, some oils and creams, flour, gummies, and vitamins too. So no matter what you're dealing with, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's general aches and pains, maybe aches and pains from battling Father Time or from your playing days, maybe it's sleep deprivation, you're having a hard time getting to sleep. Our friends over at Rogue Shop, they have so many great products that can help you battle those ailments successfully. And they ship nationwide, by the way. So no matter where you are in this great country of ours, our friends over at Rogue Shop can get their fantastic products to you. Remember, use that discount code. You see it right there on your screen, the discount code ON Texas, and you'll get a very special discount from our friends over at Rogue Shop. So rogueshop.com. We really appreciate them and their ongoing support of On Texas football. All right, let's get to the super chats. Let's dive into it. Juan's up first. Thank you, Juan. Yep. Appreciate the super chat here. It says Ed Jerry, Ed Rod, and how do you think Texas match up against Georgia and A&M? Do you think A&M is a fraud? Conference scheduled opponents 8-27. Best defense they faced was Auburn, 16-10. Auburn's defense is legit, by the way. Auburn's defense ain't no joke. But what do you think? Are the Aggies legit? I know I've heard now. I know people going back and forth. I've watched the Aggies enough to believe. I think two things can be true.
Yes,
you can be critical of their schedule and talk about how they've had, kind of, an easier road to get to this undefeated point. And also look at that offense and look at the athletes they have at wide receiver and at running back.
Yeah.
And think to yourself, hey, man, this team may be one of the best teams. Not only is it one of the best teams in the country, but they have a lot of they can win a lot of ways. Like they can win in a number of ways. Yes, the rush defense is a problem. Jerry, you've been talking about that, so I'll give you credit. You talked about that weeks ago. You're like, that rush defense worries me. You talked about it going into the Missouri game. You're like, that rush defense, it's vulnerable.
Yeah,
so you're right about that. That may be their kind of weakness. Every team's got one, by the way, or two. All right, even the really good ones. But I think the Aggies are legit. And the Aggies are legit.
I think they're an improved football team and program from a year ago. I don't know how anybody could argue that. Is A&M 3 in the country? I don't know who's 3 in the country versus 7 in the country. I mean, Indiana needed the catch of the season to beat Penn State. I mean, all this stuff is really close this year. A&M's a better football team than they were a year ago. Now, the one thing I'm not going to jump into is, A&M just hasn't beaten him. Everybody said the same thing about Texas last year.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, it's a replica now. It's everybody said, well, everybody's quarterback was hurt against Texas, Florida. Yep. All these things were said. Oklahoma. I mean, so all the very similar things are said. The one thing you have to give A&M credit for is they've been a really focused team. I mean, they put a beat down. They put a beat down on Mississippi State, 31-9. Other people really, until Georgia, hadn't put the beat down on Mississippi State. The week after Texas lost at Florida, Florida goes to College Station. They got doubled up. Arkansas obviously can score. They gave them a good game. That is the one I think that people point to. But look, LSU's a talented team. Nobody's beat LSU down like A&M. Missouri at home, 1-score game against Bama, knocked off other people. Nobody's beat them by 21 at home. And I know Missouri's quarterbacks are hurt, but that's the same thing people said about Texas last year. A&M's a better team. They're an improved team. Their program is headed in the right direction under Mike Elko. They have big NIL money. And I'll keep saying what I've been saying, and it's not going to change. And especially when we get to 16 teams, A&M and Texas, if they have the right coach with all the resources behind the program, those two teams should be in the playoffs 4 out of every 5 years. I mean, that's just what I believe. You're in an unbelievably talented state. You can go recruit to the East. California's been very good to A&M. They put a lot of resources out there. So you can recruit the states with the most talent. You're in the best conference. You have some of the best NIL money out there. And no, we're way past the rev share. People are doing more than rev share. Okay. So both of these programs should be really good. To Rod's point, we've never seen them both be good at the same time and for an extended period of time.
Exactly.
That may be the death knell to Oklahoma long term if that happens.
That's interesting. Yeah. In terms of how the one rivalry affects it. You're right. Because I know this is a discussion debate, but I've always said Texas, Oklahoma, that's the main rival. The Aggies have been more of they're the side chick for Texas, and they don't like that. But Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size. But if they start looking like this Aggie team and they're a double-digit win team, which, by the way, both Texas and Texas A&M have only been double-digit win teams in the same season once in the history of the two programs. So it's
and by the way, neither one of us are saying Texas can't beat A&M and Austin because neither one of us believe that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is A&M's an improved football team from a year ago, and you can play who's in front of you, and they've beat down the people that are in front of them. I mean, that you got to give a team credit for that. And by the way, what's been this? Everybody has been saying this. Oh, it's just A&M. They're just going to have their natural fall off. No, they're a better team this year. I mean, they literally have to lose to South Carolina and Samford back-to-back not to make the college football playoff. Who's betting on that? This is not the normal A&M that people have always made fun of. They're a better program. Now, they have the ability to recruit better players. You just have to have the right guy captaining the ship at these schools. And it looks like they made a good hire because that team's been locked in this year. They've played good football, and you just got to you tip your hat and move on. And you know what? They come to Austin in 3 weeks, and you beat them.
Yep. No, the Aggies are I know some people want to hate them. You can take this approach with the Aggies. By the way, shout out to Zach Barnett. He threw this stat out here. For the Texas A&M, they're 6-0 in SEC play. 4 SEC schools have fired their head coaches. A&M played all 4. They played against a third-string quarterback in Missouri, and they play next week 1-6, a team that's 1-6 in SEC play, and it's also fired its OC and O-line coach. So I agree with you about Texas last year. They do get a 4-year draw. It doesn't mean that the Aggies aren't legit. They also have the most ranked road wins in the country, 2 with 3. So you can take both sides about it. We shall see. It'll all be determined on the field, no doubt about that.
And by the way, I love it. I would love for A&M and Texas game every year to have playoff implications. That's the only way you're going to get a national. You're going to take a state playoff game that's meant so much to both sides to national. Because it's not the same as Auburn and Alabama. It's not the same as Michigan, Ohio
State. No.
Texas and Oklahoma is the one that's had a lot on the line for many years. This is the way this should be moving forward in college football in the current setup. And last year had a lot of implications.
Yep.
This year is going to have implications. It just is. I mean, A&M is going to be in the playoff anyway. Somebody asked, does South Carolina have a chance against A&M? You can't say 0 chance, but South Carolina's not going to pass protect against A&M. No chance. They haven't pass protected against anybody.
All right. Let's get to another super chat here from Mark B. Thank you, Mark B. We appreciate it. Says, what personnel grouping should Texas be in most offensively have a chance? The stats would tell you that Texas should be 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end. That's what the analytics would say. Even if you include the Niblet package in there, which I don't know if we know exactly what the Niblet package is. I don't know if they're using him. Sometimes he lines up in the backfield, sometimes he lines up at the line. So if he's a wide receiver or a running back, that would obviously kind of skew it. But Texas has not been good in 12 personnel. They just have not been very explosive situationally. It worked out. CJ Vogel pointed out that in red zone, it's kind of their go-to in red zone, give them a little bit more girth up front on the line. And they can work the RPOs and kind of work the one-on-ones on the outside. But 12 personnel as popular as it used to be in Sark's offense with like 35 to 40% of your offense. This year, well, for the remainder of the season, I think Sark will shift and probably go more heavy 11 personnel than he will 12 because you hadn't been good before you're going to play Georgia. I don't think against Georgia, all of a sudden, your 12 personnel is going to start picking up and getting you some explosive or efficient plays.
Yeah, and look, I think a lot of this comes down to how successful you are early against Georgia's linebackers in pass pro, right? I mean, Rod, to me, the running backs in pass pro are going to be really key. You can run 11, but your running backs better pick up those A-gap double barrel blitzing backers.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to test your A-gaps in this game. They've tested everybody with those backers this year. And by the way, the number 33, the outside backer off the edge, he looks like an edge player. He's like 6'4", 250, but he's a backer. I mean, it's got backers everywhere. You have to handle those guys in pass pro pickup. And that is going to, if Texas struggles there, that will force Sark's hand a little bit. So to me, that's what kind of, if you handle their linebackers, Texas will have success throwing the football against Georgia's secondary. If they have struggle handling the linebackers when they're coming downhill at you, then that kind of forces Sark's hand.
Yeah, no. Shout out to CJ Vogel. He put out that you're averaging less than 5 yards per play out of 12 personnel this year. So situationally, I like it. I just don't like it to be kind of the engine of the offense. It's not going to work for you in that manner. But if they had a running game, I think it would work better for them. They don't really have a running game either. Yeah. That's what Sark likes to get in 12 personnel and pound the rock and try to play bully ball. You can't do that. So you're almost kind of wasting that advantage when you get in 12 personnel. All right, getting back to the super chats. Katie here. Thank you, Katie. Katie says, any UGA injuries from Saturday? I don't know about
Lawson Lucky, the tight end. He's in protocol, but I mean they're loaded at tight end. I mean,
with Delp and that kid you said,
Ulysses Williams.
He's 6'6", 260.
Yeah,
he's huge.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They got tight ends for days over there. That's the main one. I can't. I mean, obviously, Jordan Hall's out for the year. The starting defensive lineman, he's out for the year.
Okay,
so that hurts their depth a little bit because he was a starter next to Christian Miller on their defensive line. Christian Miller's the guy you have to handle. By the way, that guy's a baller. He's a player.
Yeah, he's one of the best run-stopping D linemen.
In
the country. Yeah, they may have the best. If you look at it, they may have 2 top 10 players in stopping the run at linebacker and on the D line. That's how stout they are in terms of their run defense. All right, thank you, Katie. We'll be, of course, obviously keeping up with any injuries on both sides as the week goes on. Bobby here with the super chat. Thank you, Bobby. Says, Rod, have given your targets to motion notions, which routes and route combinations did you find hardest to defend? That's good. Listen, we're talking about for Georgia, right? From the last game. I'm assuming you're talking about from Georgia from the last 2 matchups. The things that really worked well versus Georgia were targets to motion, but it's really when he could work the edges pretty much and find one-on-ones, get Georgia into a one-on-one. When he could manipulate a one-on-one situation, Texas wide receivers were able to win against Georgia DBs last year. And he did that in the SEC title game. He did it a lot better from the jump. And that's a lot of what the targets to motion was because a lot of the adjustments, Georgia plays a lot of man too. So a lot of their adjustments, the motion would just isolate the man coverage and it would make it glaring to the quarterback. And then you just got to it's all about ball placement. And whether it's Matthew Golden or DeAndre Moore, those guys would win. Another thing I found that worked really well were double moves, and I call them ag beaters. These are plays that are going to punish a team for being overly aggressive. And Georgia is a really aggressive, fast flow defense. They're really well prepared, so they're quick key. If they see like something that triggers them from film study or from preparation, They go. That's why your slow developing plays don't work versus them. Them Sark screens and then outside zone ain't gonna work against Georgia. They're too fast flow to the football, man. You got things gonna pop quickly. So when Sark would work double moves, you hit Georgia on big plays on double moves, both games. In the first matchup and the second matchup with Matthew Golden. Those whip routes, you kept getting good whip routes on them because the DBs, especially when you're running the thing is a slant, man, they're trying to cut it off. I mean, matter of fact, I saw Mississippi State run double move on them and ran a success. I think they called the PI actually on that double move. You can get, but you got to have a little time to make those plays, get those plays to develop. But you can get Georgia on like called ag beaters, double moves to stalk, block, and go. The slant, the stalk slant that DeAndre Moore scored on against them in the second one. They're so aggressive that if you can just get them flowing and you got something that's going to pop the other way, you can get Georgia on it. And Sark did a good job in the second matchup with that too. So those are just a couple of things that I think will work really good. Targets a bunch has been working really well for them all year long. They should definitely have a lot of targets a bunch early on because you don't want Georgia to be able to be aggressive on your receivers. You bunch them up together, forces them to give them some cushion and back off.
Yeah, by the way, perimeter blocking is huge for Texas in this game. They have to be able to spring because Georgia's going to bring physicality, right, Rod? You have to be able to hold that block against the physicality that split second longer in this game. They will try to blow everything up.
The linebackers flow so well from inside out. So if you're gonna pop something, you better make sure you can pop it on the outside.
On the outside. Yeah. You better hold your block. You better get on that hat and make the block.
Love it. All right, thanks, Bobby, for the super chat. Jay Tizzle, appreciate that. Says, love you guys and the Horns, but putting money on that Georgia line. What's that line again, Matthew? I believe it's 6.5. Is that what it opened at? Did it open at 6.5?
It opened at 5.5.
That's what I thought. It's open at 5.5, and already going up a point.
Yeah, that the over under at 47.5 is that one's the interesting one for me. I mean, Georgia this season, 44-41 at Tennessee. Bama's 24-21, still different game, right? But at Auburn doesn't count because they're only a defensive team. But Ole Miss, 43-35 game. Saturday, 41-21 game, even though Georgia was up big. Florida neutral site, 24-20 game, and Georgia pretty much took a knee on the one. So that over-under number is interesting. I actually think there may be a little more scoring than that in this game.
I like that, actually. Especially with the Texas offense finding their group. But this is the problem is Texas doesn't have a running game. Like the problem with Texas scoring a lot of points is they're going to be in that crisis mode that I talk about all the time because they don't have a running game. So I worry about them putting together consistent drives and then having to just rely on big chunky yardage plays, which they can do. Sark got those last year in the SEC title game. He got them in the first one. So Sark can generate those. He can scheme them open, and Arch is talented enough, and so it's a wide receiving core to make those. But that's crapshoot stuff. That's when you just like, all right, we're gonna roll the dice, see if we can get it here, instead of being able to know, like, oh, let's get ourselves to third and manageable, third and short. And that's what I worry about with Texas in this game. Can they have even just a symbolic running game that'll force Georgia to have to respect it and not be able to just tee off on the pass? Like, that's what I worry about with Texas. So I don't know how they're gonna do it. And by
the way, on the flip side, this will be Texas' biggest tests against run defense this season. Georgia's really running the football well this year.
Yeah, they are.
And especially when they have their starting offensive line together that they wanted to begin the season with, because they were banged up at times, but they run the football well.
Nate Frazier's seeing the holes, man. His vision right now is fantastic.
And it's a physical downhill run game.
Yeah, it pops quick. Like there's no time. Like if you have a misread or a misstep,
2027 linebacker from Tustin, California, committed very early to Texas. Decommitted there, just decommitted from Texas. He's been on some visits out and about.
Okay, so you're not shocked, is what you're saying?
Never shocked when a kid commits really early and backs off of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I get that.
By the way, I talked to the mentor and trainer of Richard Wesley, the 5-star edge at Sierra Canyon, going to Texas. And by the way, he's very solid to Texas. They're blowing people out. I think he's played, I can't remember how many snaps he told me in the second half and fourth quarter. It's not many at all. But Richard Wesley is having a really good season on a team that's blowing out people. He hasn't played many snaps, but Richard Wesley's locked into Texas, and I think he's going to be a tremendous edge for the Horns.
That's what the people want to hear, Jerry. That's exactly what the folks want to hear. All right, let's thank another sponsor and tell the folks also something they want to hear. A message from our good friends at Culligan, because we appreciate them, first of all, for jumping on board and being a part of the On Texas football family. But a lot of you folks out there, you know, when it comes to the water your family drinks, the water that you drink, the water you use every day, you don't want to cut corners. That's why for over 90 years, people have trusted Culligan. And here in Austin, Culligan Ultra Pure has been serving the community for more than 60 years. Culligan Ultra Pure provides high-quality residential water treatment at an affordable price, including reverse osmosis systems, water softeners, and UV purification lights. Whether your water comes from a well or a municipal source, Culligan has the perfect treatment solution for your home and for your family. And right now it's a perfect time for you to reach out, because you can schedule a free water test and save up to $600 when you mention On Texas Football. Culligan Ultra Pure proudly serves Austin, Corpus Christi, Victoria, Brownwood, Pampa, Plainview as well. So don't wait. Call our friend Michael over at Culligan today, and call Culligan Ultra Pure at 512-339-2378. That's 512-339-2378 to schedule your free water analysis with our friends over at Culligan. Like I said, reach out to Michael over at Culligan today. Better water starts with Culligan. That's 512-339-2378. Thank you very much to our friends over at Culligan. All right, back to the super chats. Scott here for you, Jerry. He says, GH, what will be the final count to the 26 class?
So 20 now. I think there will be another wideout, 21. I think there'll be at least one more offensive lineman, if not two. So start at 22. I think another D lineman will be added 23. Another defensive back will be added 24. One a linebacker, but I'm not sure who that would be right now. That could be 25. It could get as high as 26. I could see it anywhere from 24 to 26, 24, 25. Is probably your likely number right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Next super chat from Texas football Hoorayo. I like that. Best guess on how likely we are to see design QB runs or QB read options, etc., for Arch against Georgia, A&M, etc. Or did the concussion knock those plays out? Seems like we need the thread. Damn, that is a good question. Texas football Hooray. That's a great question. Because we didn't see it we did not see it in the Vanderbilt game.
No.
You didn't need it because he was so great from the pocket. Ball was out so quick, 2.5 seconds, average time to throw, fastest this season. Jerry, that's the floor is open. This is a great conversation.
Well, I would say this. This is not a game you're going to be able to avoid hits. You're going to be playing under duress because those linebackers are going to come after you. You're going to take hits. Arch isn't a shifty, darting guy. He's going to take hits anytime he's on the move. You can't always slide. I think there will be timely, depending on when it is in the game, the down, the situation in the game. I think you have to pull out everything in this game. What else is there? You got to pull it all out in this game.
Yeah, because the research that I've done shows, and I've looked at other sources as well, but that the read element on every run that you have, it increases productivity. But the quarterback adding the read element, not just the handoff, that adding the quarterback as in +1 in the running game forces the defense to have to account for them, which gives you numbers advantages and other advantages. So yeah, I mean, like your outside zone as opposed to your outside zone read. The read averages more yards per carry. Your inside zone versus your inside zone read. Your outside power versus inside. You know what I'm saying? Like all those elements, there's a read element you can add to it, and the read element is more productive this season. And I think that would probably be the case all across college football if I could study it.
Yeah. And if you get to A&M, A&M is not great in run defense. Obviously, we've been saying that all year. There is nothing left in the tank against A&M. Period.
Yeah, let it all hang out at that point. I think Jerry's right. I think it's situationally But Arch also scrambles, and he likes to scramble. Yeah. And against Georgia, you might need that scrambling ability.
You're going to need it. He's got to be smart because those dudes are, I mean, they're hammering people. Those linebackers are hard hitters.
Yeah.
They're play over linebackers is what they are in contact. So you got to be smart.
Yep. So scramble drill is also one of your more effective concepts this season. And you can't neuter that aspect of it. No. The quarterback design runs, I agree with Jerry. I think situationally, and design runs, you can try to kind of protect them. Scramble actually is probably more dangerous than design runs because design runs, you can protect him. At least he knows exactly where the blocking scheme is designed to go. When it's scrambling, man, it's chaos. So we shall see. But I agree with Jerry. You need it. They need Arch as a runner, man. They can't, as an offense, they're not good enough. They're not well-rounded enough to eliminate that element. They need that desperately. Good question, though, there. Texas Football Radio. Next super chat from Justin. Thank you, Justin, for the super chat. Says, will Baxter get more carries this week with an extra week of rest? Or does that just spell, does he just spell Wisner? We have to find some sort of run game. Thank you, Justin. We just that was foreshadowing our last conversation. Yeah, because I agree with you. I don't know that he's on a pitch count. That's clear. And I think it's going to continue. I think the pitch counts, because I thought earlier this year the pitch count would be done, but I think coming off another injury, I think they're being very careful with CJ Baxter. So pitch count is what I predict, unfortunately. Yeah, Weisser's got to carry the load. I don't know is there any other running back potentially that can jump in here and help them? It looks like it's an Arch, Wisner, and then a sprinkle in some CJ Baxter. Like that's your run.
Yeah. I mean, it appears that's the way we're going to end, barring an injury.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know if that's enough to add enough juice to the run game. I'm not sure about that. All right, getting back to it. Sugar Cane Daddy, not the crop, says Jerry's been glazing our rivals. It's been glazing our rivals so hard. I thought it was CJ on the live tonight.
It's all right to say A&M's a better football team. It's okay. They are.
They're
a better team. Sometimes you got to admit they're handling their business. Doesn't mean they're going to win a national championship, but they are better. You got to give them credit. Tip your hat and move on. Mm-hmm. But I love it.
And they can be a better team, and Texas can still beat them. They just
100% right. The game's in Austin.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
3 weeks away, Marcel Reed could get hurt. I mean, they could have a major injury. I mean, Le'Veon Moss, will he try to come back and try to play? We talk about CJ Baxter. Le'Veon Moss has had major injuries 3 years in a row for them now. Yeah. He's a significant time. They don't run the ball as well without Le'Veon Moss, but all you can say about them is they're handling their business.
Yeah.
They're a focused team. They're playing well. Doesn't mean they're going to win a national championship, but they are playing well right now.
Yeah.
Confidence matters, Rod.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It does. I've never seen more swag since the Johnny Manziel days. Last time you seen the Aggies have this much swag. All right. They got it. They feel good about themselves. And I think there's substance to it, though. I think there's substance.
By the way, to anybody's question, would I pick Ohio State to beat A&M? Absolutely, I would. If they played tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I would, too.
Absolutely, I would.
Yeah. It's Ohio State.
Ohio State would run the football, then throw it on them. Yeah, I mean, so am I picking A&M to win a national championship? Absolutely not.
No, but just that the Ohio State's done it. Like Aggies, that's the kid. They wouldn't have been there in the modern era. They've been the first time as a program. I'm not going to pick them unless they're just overwhelmingly better than everybody else, and that's not the case.
That's not the case.
Christian here. Thank you, Christian, for the super chat. Says, "What's up, Rob B and Jerry? What advantages do you think Texas has, if any, in this game? Georgia's fast on both sides of the ball." That's good. I like Texas Texas wide receivers against their DBs.
I do too. I
like
tight ends.
Oh, that's good too.
Injuries is similar to Traore at Mississippi State. And while I think the Texas tight ends in the passing game too. Those Georgia linebackers are very aggressive.
They are,
and they're going to be put in aggressive places to get pressure on Arch. So. I like I like those matchups. I would say I like that Texas has a week off to heal up. And I know Georgia blew out Mississippi State, but they still played Florida in a road game against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I like that Texas had a week off for this game. I do think that matters after that last month. And I think defensively, again, how many times can you get Georgia in 5-man protection? If Texas get Georgia in 5-man protection enough, I'll take Texas pass rush all day against anybody.
Texas
almost anybody
versus their pass pro. Like you'll take Texas advantage.
If you can get them in 5-man protection, I like Texas chances.
I like those. Who wins their run game versus your rush defense, which is your rush defense is top 5 in the country.
Yeah, number 1 in the SEC.
To me, that may be the ultimate matchup because to get to your 5-man protection theory there, or to let that be a factor, you got to stop their run game. You got to get them into 3rd and longs or 2nd and longs.
Rod, the biggest thing you have to do in this game is you have to match the physicality. Kirby is – look, I can tell you this for a fact. They thought they were going to out-physical Texas both games last year. They just thought they were a more physical program on their defense versus the Texas offense. And that's – look, that's what this game's going to – a lot of this game's going to come down to. Kirby's going to challenge his guys to go be the most physical team in America in their home field. Nobody thinks they're going to do anything this year, even though it's BS, right? I mean, they're proving they're better than people thought, even people close to the program, by the way. But you have to handle their physicality because Georgia's going to test Texas. They're going to try to run the ball and say, all right, come win your one-on-ones against our guys in the run game. Come win them. They're going to challenge them.
Yep. I think they're going to try to do what Florida did.
Yep.
Pound in the run game. Texas put 8 in the box and then hit some one-on-ones on the outside.
Yep.
I do think it'll be that. It won't be that simple in terms of how they break it down logistically, but I do think that's going to be the approach. I'm with you. They want to establish some physicality early on.
Because if they do, then they can flip out that little screen, the branch, and you have one less defender over there, and then all they have to do is hit 1.5 blocks.
Yeah. They did a lot of they did some play action boots versus Mississippi State too. The rollouts, they're going to do rollout. I guarantee it, move the pocket versus Texas because they saw Vanderbilt have so much success with it. And I think Gunnar Stockton does that really well too. I think you're going to see some of that in that game. There's no doubt about it. They ran a lot of RPOs versus Mississippi State too. I'm not sure if that's just something they're doing specifically for the matchup or something that they're just getting Gunnar Stockton comfortable in. I'll go back and kind of watch all of the film later on this week. But that was something else that I noticed. And against Texas, RPO is basically quick game. Quick game has worked really well versus Texas.
Yeah.
Just because Texas plays a lot of cushion, bend but don't break, especially in the secondary. Teams have been taking advantage of those easy yards too. So we shall see. All right. Getting back to it. Katie35, I'm the best. He says, thank you for the super chat, by the way, Katie35, I'm the best. Right now, do you think Texas has more guys returning in 26 than enter the draft than the 2025 Texas team? Probably.
Yeah.
Like, how many guys have decisions to make right now? Like right now, we are
Jelani McDonald probably does, right?
Jelani McDonald. I agree with you on that one.
I think DeAndre Moore, and people laugh, probably does if his season ends, because this is not a deep receiver draft, and next year is going to be pretty special.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to be in next year's.
You don't want to be in next year's wide receiver draft. Everybody's getting bumped down next year. Yeah. I mean, just think about it. Jeremiah Smith, Cam Coleman, Ryan Williams. I mean, Matthews from Tennessee potentially, if Wingo goes to the next level. And then there's other guys. I'm not even mentioning. I mean,
you're right.
So just think about that wide receiver draft next year versus this year. So if you have a third, if your people are telling you third, fourth round grade, if you go test and blowout testing or something, maybe you reach up into the late second. It's a tough call to make because next year's a lot deeper draft.
Yeah.
Rod, Anthony Hill, obviously.
Yeah, Anthony Hill.
Trey Wisner.
He's gone. The Trey Wisner one is really interesting too, considering the way the season's going. That one's an interesting one. Yeah. I wonder what and the value of the running back position overall in the league. And most guys will figure, hey, I got to start my NFL career as soon as possible. Yeah, as a running back.
It's hard, and it's hard to. Rick Ambergi asked about Gooseby.
That's interesting too.
It's a big game for him. He's got some big games. Cassius Howell coming up. He has some.
Cam Williams just saying, "Screw it, I'm going." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care where I'm drafted. I just need to go.
Yeah.
When everybody's like, "Hey, you can improve your draft stock," somebody's like, "I don't care. I just need to go to the league." I ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
But
I don't. So I'll say this: I don't think Trevor Gooseby makes a Cam Williams decision. Meaning, I'm just gone. I've done what I want in college. I just want to go. I just want to go try to be a pro.
I'm just gonna go be a pro.
I don't think the Goosebees think like that at all. They're very process development oriented people.
Nice.
They've understood that because he was he's a physical developmental guy physically coming from the high school level. He went from 262, 268 pounds as a spring of his junior year to the guy you see now. That's a process with somebody with his frame. And it was more of a basketball guy that transformed into an offensive tackle over time. He's on definitely a different curve, but they won't make that the Goosebees won't make that same decision. They won't be like, I got 3 years, I'm done. I'm just ready to move on and go be a pro football player. That's not the way they think.
Okay.
It'll have to be the right thing for him if they do it.
I like that. All right. Thank you, K35. I'm the best. How about Lane with a super chat? Thank you, Lane. Said I think Sark's at his best when it's us against the world. OU game was that this year? Certainly was. She said, do you agree this game is one as well, a la the Kirby problem?
Yeah.
It's
a great question, Rod. I think it's us against the world for both people this week. For both coaches.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know Texas gets so much hype that it's easy for Kirby to flip the narrative. Yeah. This guy's like, Texas coming in. Texas got all the hype. They were overhyped in the preseason, and they're overhyped again. How did they get back in the top 10? They were unranked, and they're not back in the top 10. Why? Because in Texas overhyped. Arch is overhyped. Blah, blah, blah. So it's easy for to get his guys, feeling like they're somehow the underdog in this situation, even though they're favorite in this game because Texas has so much hype. If you're Sark, it should be easy psychologically too. I'm gonna get your guys ready for this. It should be easy. Like this, you are in the midst now of almost playoff mode to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
like, you gotta win every game down the stretch. So we'll see how this team operates. Backs up against the wall, us against the world mentality. Lane, I agree with you on that though. I think Sark's gonna come out swinging, just like he did in the SEC. I think he's gonna come out swinging in this game. He come out really aggressive. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that he's going when he comes out? Does he come out throwing like they did last game, where the ball's out of Arch's hands quickly, or does it mean he's taking shots down the field like the offense we saw earlier? There are two offenses you could see in this game from Texas. You could see the one we've seen the last 5 quarters or so, and the one we saw in the second half of the Oklahoma game, or we can see the one we saw earlier in the season where Arch digs the long ball and we got a vertical passing offense. Honestly, he may need both of them.
Yeah. Well, if you handle the linebackers, you're going to be able to throw the ball down the field on Georgia. Everybody else has this year.
Exactly. And
you got to handle the backers. If you do, then the plays will be there down the field for the.
Yeah, because I don't know if you can hit those quick screens, those wide receiver screens. Georgia, they tackle too well, and those linebackers pursue too well.
Yeah.
That was 10 yards against Vandy. That may be 3-4 against Georgia. And Sark may get frustrated with that. No, all you need is one negative play, and then you're behind the chains. So I don't know if that'll work. I think he'll test it. That's why I say you may need both of those offenses. You may need the offenses that you have been this season, both of them, the different ones, to help you win this game, depending on the situation and circumstance. And we'll see if Sark can kind of seamlessly transition from which one he needs based on the play call that Kirby's dialing up. All right, Beard with a super chat here. How about this, Beard? Thank you for the super chat. Says Sunday night needs to be bourbon and football, by the way. Do you guys think I like that? We can get Bingham's bourbon, throw that on there. Do you guys think the Horns try and attack Georgia like they did Michigan, make the linebackers run side to side, and then hammer the middle? Great. I mean, we were literally just talking about that, Beard. This is a purpose, almost serendipitous to bring up this question. What are your thoughts, Jerry? Because this is what I think may be the biggest factor in the game. How does Sark try to initially attack Georgia? Is he trying to sucker him in? Is he just trying to laying haymakers early on? Like, what is the game plan? Because you can't run the ball. And I know you're going to try.
He's moved away from the haymakers a little bit. He's gotten haymakers out of the flip and screen game, essentially.
Those are like jabs. Those are jabs that knock the guy out. You didn't even try to.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So I mean, could you see the fake screen, double move, go route? You could see something like that, but do we see Arch play action and turning his back to the defense and running 3 verticals, long developing routes? I'm not sure I see that early in this game.
No, I don't want to see anything slow developing.
No,
nothing slow developing versus Georgia because they react way too quickly. I don't want to see that. I want to see quick hitters. I mean, see things that you can hit really quickly. So we shall see. Oh, hold up.
Sugarcane Daddy, that's a hilarious comment, by the way.
Whoa.
Well done, sir.
Woo! Benjamin, we appreciate that, brother. That's fantastic. That's how you get a Sunday night live stream going. I might have to end the show with the headgear on just for that. There's headgear check. Thank you, Benjamin, for the super chat. That is very kind of you. That's fantastic. Says, will Sark stick to these simple motion to pass concepts? It seems to be that should be his offense, no matter who is at quarterback. He needs to start the game that way, I think, to get Arch in the rhythm. It does. The last two weeks, he has had more targets to motion than he's had all season long, like in terms of a 2-game stretch. So last 2 games. And like I said, ironically, I don't know, like I said, serendipitously, that is also the most successful passing concept he had versus Georgia. And in the 2 games versus Georgia, 23 targets to motion in that game. And he used it a ton. He had it 10 times in the first game, 13 in the second. So he understood. I think you had it 3 times in the first half of the first game.
Yeah.
So basically, in the last, you went to overtime in that second game. So 7 periods, he used it 20 times. Yeah. So he knows it works. But you need more than that. Georgia will be ready for that. They watched the same film we did. There'll be a different check and an audible and adjustment to motion. I guarantee you this time around. Not saying it won't work. I think it still will work, but Georgia will be ready with a different adjustment. So it may look a little bit different, but it may open up other things offensively for Texas. But that's just one thing that worked really well. And like I said, I think you should throw in double moves and when you get guys isolated on the outside on the perimeter. And I think you should have time because they don't pressure the quarterback really well. If you get time, I think the corners can be had. They can be beat on the outside. I think that's an advantage. Jerry and I both agree Texas has their wide receivers versus their DBs. You got to be able to dial up the matchup advantages there, though, for Sark. So, and I think he can. I think he will. Does he do it early on and is he aggressive with it, or do we see him adjust to it later on in the game after Georgia, after he confirms there's one-on-one matchups on the outside?
Yeah. And by the way, the lampshade's not available, but I'm about to get you, Cisco. Does anybody, hey, when you look at Rod right here, does it look like a UFO's landing on his visor to anybody?
That's my, yes. That's my streaming light, man. I gotta light up the room here and make sure that.
All right, Rod, you ready for this? You ready?
Oh, beautiful. Oh,
yeah,
like the Santa pimp hat there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done. Okay, that's the holiday hat then. That's it. Done.
Yeah. Now it's making an appearance on Coffee and Football again this week.
That is money. That is a fantastic hat. See, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. I ain't gonna lie. I
should wear this with the ref jersey tomorrow on Coffee and Football.
All right. You know what? Let's thank our sponsor one more time. We're at the end of the show. And thank you, Benjamin, as well, for that super chat, man. That was really kind of you. And if you do want some more breakdown about what worked really well versus Georgia, I will say, and you probably already watched it, Benjamin. If you haven't, CJ and I did a video last week about those 2 matchups and really what Sark learned from the first matchup to the second matchup. And I go over all the numbers and break it down. So please go check it out. And thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you also to our friends over at Rogue Shop. We appreciate them. being a sponsor of our Sunday night live stream. Folks, our friends at Rogue Shop have it all: oils and creams, flour, gummies, and vitamins. They also ship nationwide, no matter where you are in this great country of ours. Our friends at Rogue Shop can get their fantastic products to you. Use that discount code. You see it right there on your screen on Texas, and you'll get a very special discount from my friends at Rogue Shop, bringing real plant medicine back to its roots. Had a member of the Owen Texas football family recently tell me that they swear by Rogue Shop because they were having trouble getting to sleep, and they tried a couple of items over at Rogue Shop, and now they sleep like a baby thanks to Rogue Shop. So maybe that could be the case for you. Try them out, rogueshop.com. Thank you, Benjamin, as well. That's why we're going to end the show. Because of Benjamin, we're going to end the show with the headgear on, headgear check.
Can I hit three rapid response questions for the people?
Please do.
I'm not going to pull these up, but I'm going to read them. Jason Ari, who's Texas looking at for QB in 27? Everybody Texas has offered is committed elsewhere. They've been going really slow at quarterback in 27. I don't have that answer. They seem to like the kid or evaluating the kid from Smithson Valley in that class, but we'll see where they go with that. Burn-ins is James Simon and Witness Protection Program, possibly. Daniel Ornato, what teams could you see joining the SEC in the future? I could see North Carolina, Clemson. Would NC State come with North Carolina? Potentially, Duke could probably be happy to go to the Big East and play basketball. I could see that. The fourth, could it be FSU? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Nathan, how did Virginia Tech small forward Nicolas Avendalis end up at a bigger school? I don't know his backstory, but he'll end up being a draft pick. He's a stud. A lot of times it's the guys that so many kids have come over from international basketball. Heck, Virginia Tech might have had the most NIL dollars left at the time and got him. But, man, that guy's really good. Burn-ins, I will bring this one up, Rod, because I want to get your opinion. Better job, A&M or Penn State?
A&M.
Traditionally, it's been Penn State. Now,
it's A&M now, though.
It's A&M in the NIL and in the SEC.
Yeah, it's right. It's the SEC, and it's a natural recruiting base there. So I know Pennsylvania has one, but kids, to me, I think it's better to recruit nationally, easier to recruit nationally to Texas than it is to Pennsylvania. I could be off about that, though.
And the other thing, Rod, it's like kind of what we talked about earlier that could keep Oklahoma down. If Texas and Texas A&M are good, that makes it tougher on Oklahoma. I think the same is true for Penn State. If Notre Dame, as long as Freeman's at Notre Dame and Ohio State's good, that makes it a little tougher on Penn State in that region.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. All right. Good stuff there, guys. Appreciate all of the super chats and our participation. Keep it tuned here to Owen Texas football all week long, folks, because we're going to be diving deep into that Texas-Georgia matchup and trying to reveal all the ways that Texas can pull off that big win over the Bulldogs. Thank you to Matthew behind the scenes. He's the real MVP. Can't do it without Matthew twisting and tweaking the dials. Really appreciate all of his hard work. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you very much to our friends at Rogue Shop, rogueshop.com. Remember to use that discount code on Texas. And thank you very much to our friends at Culligan as well for being a sponsor here of our Sunday night live stream. Tomorrow, don't forget, you got Jerry and Bobby bright and early with coffee and football at 8:15. You don't want to miss those guys. If you have any questions or comments that we missed, you can direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football. And of course, you'll have our Monday night live stream, the Winning Drive, the primetime edition, myself, Coach Bob Shipley, CJ Vogel, lifetime Longhorn, my former teammate Stevie Lee joins us on Mondays as well. Always a great time having the guys on at the Winning Drive. So that'll be at 7:15 tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned in for that as well. For Jerry and for Matthew, I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Thank you guys for all the super chats. We really appreciate all of you guys helping us build this family. Until next time, look 'em horns.